this is why home court matters. This is why you can't have off day. This is why we can't be 11th in the league in defense, right? Like, we got to get to at least middle of the pack, all of those different things. And so as a competitor, it's exciting.
Yeah.
And it's exciting to coach generational talents,
Yeah.
and that outweighs the other stuff that we might have to deal with.
In just 2 games, the unrivaled league has already zeroed in on Caitlin Clark, sparking a battle that promises high-stakes drama. What makes Clark a target, and how will she respond to the mounting pressure? Literally, we go right on to the broadcast.
I think laying the foundation for this is what we have to do to compete at a championship level.
Yeah.
Like, this is why home court matters. This is why you can't have off day. This is why we can't be 11th in the league in defense, right? Like, we got to get to at least middle of the pack, all of those different things. And so as a competitor, it's exciting.
Yeah.
And it's exciting to coach generational.
Unrivaled took less than 2 games to say they somehow have the best point guard. I think they must have forgotten Caitlin Clark exists, or are they now trying to discredit her because she decided not to join their league?
While pushing her to be her best and challenging her to step outside of her comfort zone on the floor. I have the advantage of I was an opponent, right? And so scouting her and this is what we try to do to make you uncomfortable. This is how we've game planned for you. And again, being that straight shooter, like, okay, like these are the areas that we need to improve. And putting those pieces together while also thinking about the holistic version of this team that we have, who is incredibly gifted on the offensive end of the floor.
However, the rise of Caitlin Clark has introduced a fresh perspective on what it means to be the best point guard in the league. Clark's explosive scoring ability, coupled with her playmaking skills, has turned heads since she entered the college basketball scene.
I'm looking forward to, when you think about Caitlin Clark and a generational talent, and the sometimes overlooked Kelsey Mitchell, who's been like one of the hardest workers that I've ever seen from the time I was covering her at Big Ten Network, watching her at Ohio State. And then Aaliyah Boston, who, prior to Caitlin Clark coming on the scene, was another generational talent and is, right? Like, so it's like you think about the pieces that we have and putting that all together. I hope, number one, for Caitlin, that I can be a resource. Mm-hmm. I didn't have the same stuff that she has on a global scale. Thankfully we didn't have social media at the time, which amplifies everything. But I've been through it on a smaller scale. And so hopefully I can help her navigate, some of the.
Caitlin did something nobody has been able to replicate. She's changed women's basketball for the better, yet we still have these organizations disrespecting her, saying things like Chelsea Gray is the best point guard in the world. I mean, she was even breaking NBA stats last season. Imagine how lethal she's going to be after being fully rested.
Multiple bodies. It's everybody's bigger, faster, stronger in the W. So there's an adjustment period for every rookie coming into this league. It's going to be playing tendencies, trying to send her into analytically where her weaker areas on the floor are, make things difficult. But look, this is a really good young Indiana Fever team. They've got a lot of strong pieces around her. There is no substitute for experience. So where they're starting the season is going to look much different than where they will be at the end of the season.
It again, folks, 3 straight weeks winning Player of the Week honors as a rookie. This has never been done before. Not only has it never been done before in the WNBA, but Caitlin Clark is now the first rookie in WNBA or NBA history to be named Player of the Week for 3 consecutive weeks, and each week has been.
It's interesting revisiting past comments Caitlin Clark and Stephanie White made about each other, knowing what we know now. Because it's been clear all along, I guess, in retrospect, that there was mutual love and respect between the pair. Coach White had said that Clark was going to be the player who adapted the best to the WNBA coming out of college. She defended Caitlin Clark from early season WNBA struggles. Meanwhile, Clark, who faced White's team in her first WNBA game, called her a great basketball mom.
The commentator's assertion that Gray is the best point guard in the league seems to overlook the meteoric rise of Clark and her potential to redefine the position. Clark's youth and the sheer excitement she brings to the game suggests that her ceiling might be higher than anyone currently playing. Her ability to score and assist at an elite level, often against tough competition, makes her a compelling candidate for the title of the best point guard. Furthermore, the debate touches on the evolution of the point guard role itself. Traditionalists may favor Gray's classic approach, emphasizing playmaking and leadership.
You see that rumored rift between Caitlin Clark and Christy Sides may have sparked Fever coaching shakeup. Look, there's not a chance in the pit of hell that they didn't sit down and have a conversation with Caitlin Clark. Of course they did. And I'm talking about the front office, the owner, about the her opinion on the coach.
While Chelsea Gray's claim to being the best point guard in the league is supported by her achievements and undeniable skill set, it's hard to dismiss Caitlin Clark's burgeoning talent and potential to surpass even the highest expectations. The league's future will be shaped by players like Clark who challenge the status quo and push the boundaries of what point guards can accomplish. As the debate rages on, one thing is certain: the competition between these two outstanding players will only elevate the game, providing fans with electrifying performances and unforgettable moments. Caitlin Clark's meteoric rise in the world of basketball has had a profound effect on the WNBA, with her influence extending far beyond the court. From the moment she burst onto the scene, Clark's extraordinary talent, combined with her magnetic presence, has captivated audiences and inspired a new generation of basketball fans. Her impact is so significant that many believe the introduction of an unrivaled league pushing the WNBA to new heights may not have occurred without her.
With Locked On Basketball, folks, I don't think I've heard her speak more glowingly about Caitlin Clark a day in my life. We can add up every single compliment Christy Sides has given Caitlin Clark in her pregame interviews, in her postgame interviews, following the draft, before the draft. We can add up all of those compliments, and it still won't equal the amount of praise that Chrissy Sides finally decided to heap on Caitlin Clark. Finally!
She has raised the bar for what a player can accomplish at such a young age because of her deep three-point shooting, court vision, and ability to manage the game's tempo. Her accomplishments have established a standard for upcoming stars and have frequently prompted comparisons to some of the best athletes in the sport, both male and female. The expansion and prominence of the WNBA are also impacted by Clark's genius. Her games attract record-breaking viewership numbers, drawing in not just die-hard basketball fans, but also casual viewers who are intrigued by her play style. This surge in viewership has brought more attention to the league, increasing its appeal to sponsors and broadcasters. The result has been an influx of investment and media coverage, further legitimizing and elevating the WNBA in the eyes of the public. Furthermore, if it wasn't for Caitlin's rise, the unrivaled league probably wouldn't even be a thing. The reason for better player treatment was all started from Caitlin Clark.
Against a team that did better than really anybody else going against Caitlin Clark. Part of that was personnel, as she mentioned. When you got DeWanna Bonner and you have Alyssa Thomas and you have Dejanay Carrington, you're much more equipped for defending anybody, right? Like, that was the DNA of the Connecticut Sun. So I think the hope is that Stephanie White can bring some of that DNA over to the Fever. And they're going to have to, like some of defense's effort, some of it is personnel. So they may have to make some personnel moves in order for that to fully come to fruition.
Caitlin Clark, this Indiana Fever team are so fun to watch. The introduction of an unrivaled league, a concept that aims to merge the best elements of global women's basketball into a singular powerhouse entity, is closely tied to the surge in interest that Clark has helped generate. Without her electrifying performances and the subsequent rise in the sport's popularity, such an ambitious venture might have struggled to find the necessary support and momentum. Clark has not only reinvigorated the existing fan base, but also tapped into a new demographic of young fans who see in her a role model and a pioneer. Clark's influence is also evident in how other players and teams have responded. Her dominance has pushed competitors to elevate their own games, fostering an environment of intense competition and continuous improvement. This competitive spirit has improved the overall quality of the league, making it more compelling and unpredictable for fans. As a result, the WNBA has become a hub of innovation and talent, attracting players from around the world who want to compete at the highest level
at our disposal. So, and it's I don't know how any college team really can prepare for a Caitlin Clark, because you can't do it with one person. Yeah. And you can't do it one-on-one, right? Like, it is a whole 5-man team effort. So let me just preface all that before you go with it.
Additionally, Caitlin Clark's effect on the WNBA is nothing short of transformative. Her talent and influence have not only elevated the standard of play but also positioned the league as a central force in global basketball. Without her, the introduction of an unrivaled league might have remained a distant dream. Clark's legacy is already being written, and her impact on the WNBA will be felt for generations to come. Recently, Clark received a massive offer to join unrivaled a burgeoning league eager to establish itself as a powerhouse in women's basketball. The league saw in Clark not just a phenomenal player, but a marketing juggernaut who could be the face of their brand. They offered her not only a lucrative contract, but also the promise of building the league's identity around her star power. The plan was simple: use Caitlin Clark's rising stardom to elevate unrivaled visibility, drawing in fans and sponsors alike. But guess what? She said no, and now they are saying players like Chelsea are better than her.
For her a bag to come join you guys?
Yeah, well, I feel like it's just so crazy because the growth that Caitlin has brought to the game, the sheer amount of money that she's making these teams, people are having to move their venues for when she comes to play, and she's getting paid like $75.
League is $5 million to play. Are the markets being set for Caitlin Clark in 3-on-3 basketball, as Ice Cube and the Big Three are made an official offer to Caitlin Clark of $5 million to play in the Big Three. I think that's where the price tag is set for Caitlin Clark. For a moment, it seemed like a match made in heaven, a young league with bold ambitions and a young player poised to take the basketball world by storm. However, Clark's decision to stay the course with her current path.
I've never seen, I can't even say maybe Steph in his early years, but I've never seen a basketball player throw up threes like that and just be so accurate from that distance. I'm gonna give it to Kate. I'm gonna give it up to Caitlin Clark on that. You can't deny that. That's eye test. You don't have to be a basketball player. My mom don't watch a lick of basketball, can watch Caitlin Clark and tell me that girl could.
Best point guard in the league, a declaration that not only aims to bolster their roster reputation, but also subtly underscores their ability to attract top-tier talent. So the saga is finished after months of anticipation. We have got a clear story, or we have got a denial, we have got a definitive seemingly answer. And not too long ago, ESPN broke the news that Caitlin Clark is set to not play an unrivaled sourceful. Unrivaled positioning. Chelsea Gray as their marquee player is a
point guards and post players that our game, not just our league, but our game has seen. They are going to go down in history as the greatest. And I'm excited about the opportunity to work with them. I'm excited about the opportunity that we have to build from those starting points and build out, and for the longevity that those two could have in Indiana, in Indianapolis, and hanging banners in this building. All of those things are so exciting. The future's really bright, and I'm just glad to be a part.
To score and assist at an exceptional level, making her one of the most promising young players earlier this week in the WNBA. Now, Caitlin Clark, obviously earlier in the season, she had some growing pains, as you know, heralded rookie coming off an unbelievable career at Iowa, but oh my god, she has turned it up a notch over the last few weeks, and the other night she set a new WNBA record with 19 assists. What makes Caitlin Clark's accomplishments even more remarkable is that she was doing all of this while juggling multiple responsibilities on the court. As a rookie, she wasn't just a scorer or a passer, she was a leader, often carrying the weight of the team on her shoulders. And now Stephanie White, a coach who is well known for her ability to maximize her player's potential and her strategic acumen. Caitlin Clark's game is set to soar to new heights with White at the helm. White has already showered Clark with praise, acknowledging her special abilities and realizing how important it is to let her concentrate on her strengths. Clark won't have to take on multiple roles at once this season. She will get the much-needed rest and have the chance to hone her skills even more with a well-organized support network and a well-defined strategy. Discuss communicating with Caitlin Clark and wanting to help mold her into a leader to win multiple championships. And you can see when Stephanie White discusses a team that there is a level of excitement behind what she's saying. The prospect of
incredible, not just the offers that she's getting from multiple avenues, but the momentum that women's basketball has gotten heading out of the bubble, so to speak. The WNBA has continued with positive momentum. I think Caitlin Clark will choose the WNBA and the longevity of her career in the WNBA, but what an outstanding opportunity it is, and what an investment in women.
approach when you're coaching greatness like that. Yeah, I think first and foremost, I'm just talking basketball, right? Just having general basketball conversations about what she's watching, what she likes, what are some of the things what are some of her thoughts from, not just what the Indiana Fever have done, but from the game of basketball in general as we look forward to the upcoming season. One thing is clear: Caitlin Clark, under the guidance of Stephanie White, is on the path to redefining what's possible for a young player in the game. Her rivalry with stars like Gray will only fuel her drive to excel, and with the adjustments being made to her role, Clark is set to dazzle even more this year. The basketball world should brace itself for Caitlin Clark, who is rested, focused, and ready to elevate her game to unprecedented levels. Everybody respects what Caitlin is doing for the WOK. What she have done is brought different eyes to the W.
I got off the phone with Stephanie White this morning talking about this decision, and man, she was ecstatic. I was so happy for her because you could understand why this was needed for her in the first place. And it starts with proximity of location. It's not just starting with Fever. It's not with the Caitlin Clark madness. No, it's being as close as home as
Story. In addition to being disrespectful to Clark, this sparked a larger discussion about how to handle athletes who choose their own path. The disrespect aimed at Clark was not just seen as an isolated incident, but as part of a larger pattern where athletes, particularly women, are often scrutinized and judged more harshly when they assert control over their careers. And it's real damn frustrating when you see someone on a team that shouldn't be on the team you have. Chelsea Gray, who played 9